What's up, ladies and non-ladies? It is Cerealkiler back again with a fun one for you. Today we're going to do the double Akroma ToaH hard floor, which can be quite problematic. We're going to do it with these 5 monsters right here, and I'll kind of break down what needs to happen to make this work. Now, the first thing, you're going to want to use either Basalt or Veromos, some sort of tanky dark character. And my Basalt is on Violent, so the first thing we're going to do is remove his 4th Violent rune to break that Violent set, and we'll go ahead and throw, in this case, a Revenge rune, but just anything that's not Violent on there. Gave him some hit points, but most importantly, I want to break the Violent set so that he is not proccing Violence. This strategy relies on getting a Neal invincibility shield on your dark tank and then keeping it there for either 100% or near 100% uptime. And if you've got Violent on your dark tank, you run the risk of him proccing out of the invincibility shield. So we want to break that. And the next thing to focus on is to get the speeds correct between your Neal, your Michelle, and your Mav. Now you want the Neal to be fastest to get the shield up right away, and you want your Michelle to be second fastest to cast the block flow to extend the shield, and then you want your Mav to be slowest to lower the cooldown on the Neal shield and the Michelle block flow. So we'll get back into that when we get to the Akromas. But for right now, check out how well this works on wave 1 of this floor. We're going to put the Neal shield on Neal herself, and then we're going to ignore all 3 black Rakshasas. We don't need to screw with them forever. Neal's going to tank them the entire time. So because we lose our Gildong, Veromos, etc. AoE stuns, we're going to take advantage of the Neal shield, tank the 3 dark guys forever, and only have to worry about crowd controlling the 2 wind sylphs. So we're going to focus our stuns, our single target stuns, our single target taunts, everything on the 2 sylphs, and just let these black chicks mindlessly pump into the Neal. And this is kind of nice because you get a feel for how the Neal, Michelle, Mav combo sort of works out. Another thing I like doing with my Neal, she is on double Revenge right now just because I don't have 6 free Revenge runes, but I prefer Neal on triple Revenge. She's going to be taking lots of hits like this, and she has an excellent auto attack stun chance, so it's really nice to be able to throw some Revenge on her and get those stuns going back out. It's not going to help you on the Akroma portion of this floor because the Akromas won't be hitting her, but it will be nice for the trash, and it will be nice when you use Neal to tank some of these dark monster ToaH waves, which I've gotten in the habit of doing as well. I'll record some of those for you as I come across them in ToaH this month. So this floor is about to wrap up. Basically just a cleanup here. At this point you want to stop using your abilities, just punch them in the face until they die, because you want to go into this next wave with all of your abilities up. With this particular team, wave 2 of this floor is the only potential issue. Wave 1 is stupid easy thanks to Neal being able to tank all 3 black chicks. Wave 3 is stupid easy, it just takes a long time. Wave 2 is where the potential problems could come up, because with this comp, you're not as guaranteed who the tank's going to be. If you brought a water monster, you could tank all 3 Bernards, but you still don't want the Bernards to go and speed everyone up times a million. And then I've got 2 wind monsters in here, so you can't even guarantee where the Spectre damage is going to go. And then I don't have any AoE crowd control. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of damage here. The big worry is that they get an armor breakout and then murder something. Worst case scenario, you've got a Michelle to pick it back up. So I noticed I got my Neal a little bit low, and I'm going to go ahead and shield her and hope that the enemies hit her because she's low. It worked. She got the armor break on her, and now for that next turn, she's going to get focused. So It almost helps if you can get one guy low and then have them dig into him. The problem here is that, like, right now this armor break's going to fall off, and then I'm not guaranteed a kill target anymore. So your main focus is to just keep these things locked down, try to get some dots out, and try to end this floor relatively soon. It's not the end of the world just because there isn't any scary damage here. I was considering trying this with a Thrain in here instead of the Basalt as my dark tank. Get a bunch more dots for the trash waves, and you get a little bit of a stun, but then I don't have any heal unless you count Michelle and Neal, which is like 0, and I didn't want to have no sustain for the trash wave, so I ended up just going like this. I might revisit a Thrain tank later, just because the hit points don't matter so much because of the Neal, Michelle, Mav cheese, and then you gain another set of dots and some stuns. So if you'll notice, this one's going relatively well. We're chewing them down pretty quickly. I think we're going to get through this thing flawlessly. Even if we didn't get through this thing flawlessly, remember that we have the Michelle revive to fall back on. Now, something else to keep in mind as we're getting toward the end of this wave, it's going pretty smoothly for us. We're getting lots of single target CC, some Beretta stuns going out, which works out real well in our favor. You want to make sure that you do well enough on this floor to survive it, but you also want to make sure that you have all 3 of your important cooldowns ready for the first turn of the 3rd wave. Once you kind of get into the 3rd wave with all your buttons available, it's basically a guaranteed win. Unless you push the wrong button, there's really no way to fail this. You're not reliant on violent procs, you're not reliant on lucky stuns. You've got like 15 stuns that you can go after the Zaiross with until the Zaiross is dead, and then once the Zaiross is dead, then it's a guaranteed win. It's just a matter of pushing the buttons in the right order. And realistically, there's extremely low risk of the Zaiross killing anything before he dies anyway. Just because you have so much single target CC with this setup, it's not going to be a problem at all. Now, right now, I'm trying to get everything dead and not use any special abilities. So you're going to see a lot of auto attacks. You might go, oh, why didn't he use Beretta dots or whatever? I'm saving everything for the next wave. And that right Spectra's dead. The left Spectra doesn't quite look dead. And then I want to get a little bit into this Bernard. So right Spectra down. We'll see if we can auto attack this Bernard to death. I don't really want one of them to armor break me and then one of them to take half my life walking into the next floor. I think that left Spectra might be dead. Yeah, he's dead. Punch this Bernard a couple times, and then it's game on. So I'm going to show you the opener here. We'll probably kill the Zaiross, and then we'll probably speed the video up a whole bunch after we've done a couple waves of the shield. It's going to take a long time to punch these Akromas to death, but I want to leave the video in just so you can kind of see everyone's life bars and gauge exactly how smooth it is. So I'll just speed it up at that point. I want to leave everything in real speed while this Zaiross goes up, because technically this would be the worry. You don't want the Zaiross to go off and murder everything, but between the Beretta Despair, Beretta Turbulence, Mav Stun, Mav Taunt, Neal Stun, Basalt Taunt, there's no reason that Zaiross should be getting anything off. Now note right there, the Neal shield fell off for, a very short amount of time. That's not the end of the world, because the Basalt will tank a couple of these Akroma hits anyways, and you've got the Basalt heal and the Basalt defense buff. Right now we're a little bit less focused on 100% uptime on the shield and more focused on making sure this Zaiross doesn't get a chance to ruin everyone's life. You shouldn't have to experience it with this team, but I will tell you that Zaiross hits really hard. Before this comp right now, I was using an Emma in place of the Michelle. That's how I killed this floor 2 months ago when I fought it on, it was I think 87 hard, and it was rough. The shield wasn't up 100% of the time with the Emma. I was much more reliant on healing and the defense buff, and I let that Zaiross get an AoE off early, and it killed like everyone or a bunch of people. I definitely failed 2 months ago from the Zaiross hitting me. I very much underestimated the Zaiross AoE damage. So we want to force that Zaiross to auto attack or be stunned. We're okay with only those two options. Now this is going really smoothly. I don't think we're going to get to see this Zaiross do an attack, which is what we want. We'll load some dots off, get him off the screen, and then just get one less person to target. Once he falls down, then that starts our 6-hour adventure of just punching these Akromas to death with no damage on our team, no armor break on them, no dots on them. It's a long journey, but super safe, basically 100% success rate. There's really no way to fail this once the Zaiross drops. Maybe get a nice Neal. Well, no, we're going to put a shield back on Basalt. We already got a taunt up on the Zaiross. We're not afraid of it. So notice we've got 3 turns of Basalt shield, or Neal shield on the Basalt right there because of the Michelle. We throw some dots back up, and then it's going to be Mav's turn to lower everyone's cooldown real quick. Right there. And now we're ready to throw some more shield back on the Basalt in 1 turn, but the Basalt still has 1 turn of invincibility, and that's how this thing works. Just got extended to 2 turns with the Michelle, and it's about to be Neal's turn, and Neal can but doesn't need to put the shield on. We're gonna put it on to extend it back to 2 turns, and then Michelle's probably going to get a block flow off before it falls down, and then we'll refresh both of those with the Mav shield. This is beautiful. Now at this point I have the video sped up to 16 times normal speed. The first Akroma took me 11 minutes to kill. The second Akroma took me an additional 8 minutes past that point. I thought about cutting the video out, but I wanted to leave it so you could see the shield cycle up and down in remaining turns on the Basalt. And I found at 16x you can still see it go up and down. You can see it drop off for very short instances, but no one's life bar moves like more than 0 hit points throughout this whole thing. If it falls off, Basalt takes maybe a hit from an Akroma, usually doesn't even do that. It ends up going quite smoothly. We've got one of them down, we got to burn through that second one, and then everyone can celebrate and move on to the remaining floors of the rest of the ToaH. After we drop this lady, I'm going to show you the runes used in this video, just so you can kind of see what kind of stats I'm working with and see if this is something you can do yourself as well. Gonna kick the time back down to normal speed for this last little bit, just so we can celebrate in style. Man, that God's passive is so ridiculous of a talent. 19 minutes to kill 2 mobs, just because I can't armor break the stupid things. But they're gonna die, we're gonna win, we're gonna collect all our loot, and then we're gonna go to the next floor. Speaking of loot, we're gonna get 1 summoning stone from this. Thank you very much, guys. Totally worth the 30 something minutes that this took. Probably closer to 40, because it's 20 minutes just in the 2 Akromas. Probably almost 40 minutes for me to do this floor. But I like it. I love the fact that it's a basically 100% guaranteed kill. Your only chance for a mistake is on that wave 2, and realistically it goes really smoothly with these guys. It's not nearly as problematic as it might look like it is when you walk into it. Alright, let's take a quick look at everyone's runes used in this video. Beretta stays exactly the same. Well, for that matter, everyone stays exactly the same, except I broke the Violent set on my Basalt. He's the only one I changed for this. You can remove it however you want, but you definitely don't want to have a active violent set on your dark tank. And on that note, your dark tank is most likely going to be a Basalt if you have it, or a Veromos if you don't have it. You'll notice a lot of unpowered runes on a lot of these ToA monsters. I've kind of gotten to a point where it's so much about the abilities and the speed and the accuracy. The hit points and defense really doesn't matter nearly as much as I used to think it did, and I'm a little bit low on mana, and I've been trying to focus on Guild War monsters, so they've been getting all of my love. Now let's get this violent speed rune back on my Basalt before I end up killing myself on accident in a Guild War or something stupid like that by not being fast enough. Whenever I move runes around like that on monsters, it reminds me of Free Rune Removal Day. It's almost guaranteed that at least once on Free Rune Removal Day, I'll end up going into a Guild War with a monster that I don't have any runes on and totally ruining my battle plan for the Guild War. Alright guys, that's about it for today. Please let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you did enjoy this, please let me know with that like, comment, and subscribe button. Have a good one guys, good luck on this ToA floor, and I will see you next time.